Hello everyone, I'm Mihara. Remember what I told you in the last video? If you're interested, can I do a post about where did players before 960 go? I saw Eva in the comments section and left a comment. She said that, including me and Jeannie, there were a total of 9 players from 960 joining 2,489. I didn't even realize there were so many. She said, it's terrible. Some people are being forgotten. Because he's in management, it's normal for her to know. I'm not in management, I'm just an ordinary player. So let's take a look now. In the last video, I mentioned that the 960's combat power has now reached 14 billion. Why is it even lower than in my last video? Did another player leave? Their kill count dropped to 2.5 trillion, which is actually a significant decrease. The original 4 trillion kill count has been roughly halved. So now there are less than 100 players with over 70 million power. Looking at this, there are only over 85 players in total. And 70 million combat power doesn't necessarily mean every player is ready to fight. For example, this player, he's actually been offline for quite some time. He's completely left GT. But he didn't change his name. And he didn't come online either. Some players even use Smurf accounts. They're not even main accounts, so there are only 80 players with over 80 million combat power. But they can still fight. Will you recruit other players later to increase the number of players here? I'm not sure. What I want to tell you is that Boom 3 is still at 960. Because he previously said he wanted to emigrate and go hang out with his friends. But he's still at 960, so I'm not sure whether he's leaving or staying. So let's take a look. Like before, there were around 140 or 120960 players. Where are their current players? Let's first look at players from other kingdoms. Because some players changed their original names. So here I'll describe what their names became after they changed. And in which kingdoms are they distributed, but these belong to other kingdoms. Because I also have some records showing that many players have migrated there. For example, 2,489, 1,316, which players have migrated to these Imperium kingdoms. Some of the remaining kingdoms here are also Imperium kingdoms. But there were only a few or only one player who migrated there. So you can see, for example, Red Line went to 1029, the players that everyone cares about most. YY changed his name to Super Jujo. But he still went to 1786. He probably sold his account. But Pluma also went there 2,338. Shreen also went there 2,638. Shreen emigrated relatively early, right? After our last KVAK session ended, Prodigo sold his account to Ang. So his current account is 3,174. This happened last season. Zatanna Gaming actually came from 960's Garrison. He seemed to have been there for 2 seasons, if I remember correctly. He also went to 3218. Baruch was an early 960 player. He played 960 for many seasons and then migrated to 2654. Baisa is a streamer. He also went to 3343. Many players have also asked about Sufeng's account. Where did he go? Actually, Sufeng has been away from 960 for quite some time. But someone asked, so I just included it in this list. His account is actually 3,406. But he hasn't played for a long time. And Glug also migrated to 3535. Because in my previous video, I mentioned someone with a name that sounded very similar to Glock. I wasn't sure if it was him. After I confirmed his ID, it was indeed Glock. Yununi also immigrated to 3119. So his new name, Rainy, is very similar to his old name. So the new owner must have been a GD player before. Because my records are from the first 2 seasons. Those are the players who were there. So there were players who were in 960 last season, or who had just migrated to 960. I don't have any records. You might want to ask Cortex about this. So these players belong to other categories. Let's take a look first. Which kingdoms have the most players? Actually, the player with the most immigrants is 1,316. You can see that this list includes Brother Wei, Quill, Lao Wang, Blake, Dia, Eogian, Handsome Riki, Lizard, Alano, Farm Up. And this was the original Mr. Go account. That was later sold to Alex. Mercury. A lot of players have migrated here, but as I mentioned, my record is for players from the past 2 seasons. So, if it's players who migrated here last season, I don't have a record. There might be more. But according to the list I have, 1,316 is the most common player who migrated there. The next highest number is 2,489. Ava mentioned 9 players. But I only have 8. There's another person who keeps records on Ava's side, Jays. That means 960 just passed last season, so I don't have any records on my side. This includes Genie and Jatwer. Osno's account is the Mega Minion. He changed his name, Lucky MM. Then Barry changed his name. No wonder this name seems so familiar to me. So he changed his name. Haha, Huizi and Ko Liao. These players have migrated their 2,489, so 1,093 is actually quite a lot. That doesn't include Matakiles, who's been there for about 2 seasons. What about Malyaha? Li Hailong sold his account to Marlboro. This is a cigarette brand. I don't know how to pronounce this name. F16 Wei. Dr. Sam has changed his name. He probably sold his account too. Error. He must be playing with other friends, right? So Dark and Error are included. Wang Wang becomes Karina. So 1,606 is quite a lot. I've told you all about this before. That's Addy, Lupez, and Mama Peace, Mason, Carr, and Foggy. The smaller players include 2,377, 1,486, 3,176, and 3,092, 1,592, 1846, 2030, and 2,730. The majority of Korean players chose 2,377 and 1,486. There are 4 of them here, and there are also 4 of them here. That very capable Korean player also made it to 1486. And here we also have Soxa Great, who emigrated 2 seasons ago. This is also a previous record. So I'll tell you all about this. If you're looking for players who migrated to 960 last season. I don't have any records here, so my list isn't completely accurate. As for the remaining players still at 960, I do keep a record. Basically, 50% of the remaining 960 players are still at 960. But you can see that some names have changed. For example, Gaiji's account has been changed to Addy. Addy took over his account. And Zed's account has become Pokemon Legend. Star's account has become Jovine Ca. Jay, he shouldn't have made any substitutions, right? He probably just changed his name. Lin too. Mouse Duck has become Fishzu. But he's been a fish for 2 seasons now. If I remember correctly, Johnny also changed his name to Zhao Zhang John. Juliu's name is just missing the GT. One Shot's name is actually the same. Bari's name is also same here, same here. Moose's name is written as retiring here. He probably wanted to retire, but his account still exists. Here it just changed from uppercase to lowercase. This name just adds another player name. It seems like Mommer isn't playing anymore. So it became Cages. The vegetable thief becomes Mate. Wang Lei becomes Cat. That's roughly it. Basically, the original name still exists. I heard Hatham might leave. But he's still here at 960. So we'll see. Maybe he'll play at 960 for another season. As for the other players, what will happen to them? I'm not sure. But some players seem to just want to stay in 960. And I think 960 will probably find other players after that. This isn't the ultimate focus of 960. In any case, 960 has developed as I hoped. Because I said this in a previous video. The disbanding of Kingdom 960 might be a good thing. Because Kingdom 960 previously gathered many powerful players. This means that Kingdom 960 has too many powerful leaders. This is not what I want to see. I hope that if we can separate and disperse to other kingdoms, it will allow those other kingdoms to become powerful. That's what I hope for. As you can see, after the 960 players migrated and left, they went to 1316, 2489, 1093. These were all pretty strong Imperium kingdoms before, and 2377. Perhaps after these players from level 960 join them, they might become even stronger. For example, with so many players coming to level 1316, perhaps level 1316 will also it might become an Imperium kingdom. But I looked at their kill stats and it seems to be only half of 2489. So they probably still have a long way to go. It's possible that their focus is on attacking kingdoms in the ARB group, rather than attacking Imperium kingdoms. But Imperium kingdoms like 2489, 1093, 1606, will become increasingly powerful. And 2377. It's also possible that kingdoms like 1486, 3176, will also gradually and 3092. It depends on how these kingdoms manage their internal affairs. Of course, I understand everyone will feel bad about this. After 960 disbanded, everyone went their separate ways. No one is concentrated in 960 anymore. But there are still many excellent players in 960. So I hope they'll continue to get better and better. Let's see how Cortex manages the kingdom. So, as the audience of my previous video said, when a whale falls, all things come to life. It can truly bring about the rise of many kingdoms. They have all been resurrected or have become increasingly powerful. That concludes the update regarding the whereabouts of players before 960. So, what did you all think after watching today's video? Again, I'm not part of the management team. The data I have is limited. It's impossible to search for all 960 players. So I can only provide a rough estimate. I've done our best. But most players are already on that list. As for your opinions, please let me know in the comments. Or if there are any omissions or errors, please let me know in the comments. You can also leave a comment for me in the comments. See you in the next video.